Alrighty, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Feed Me Pixels channel. I'm your crazy space host, Larry, the most delectable astronaut chupacabra man, and we're back for some more Astroneer. And I think when we were left off, I was doing some base expansion. I certainly went out and farmed a bunch more compound, but what we should be looking at doing is we need to go and, we need to make like a vehicle bay if I have the ability to produce one. And we also need to make some upgraded components. Like, one of the things we need to do is we need to go find some more research material. Little like, the best way to describe them is like there's these weird research tumors that you can find throughout the environment. And the idea is those are going to allow us to unlock new vehicles and new sciences so that we can, whoa, what, oh, I just destroyed that. It will basically just make it easier for us to build cooler, fancier things. But before I do that, I'm gonna want to build a couple more storage containers for our research bay, because while you get just, you know, raw information out of the research bay, you also tend to get, like, raw materials once you've researched everything that a particular, like, mineral node or, like, plant tumor has to give you, is the best way I have of describing it. So let's take this stuff off of our research station, as all of our solar panels close up for the night. And then after we do that, we will hoof it underground, probably, so that we can find various materials in order to unlock just technology. That's the whole goal here. And eventually we want to be able to, like, go and explore space and stuff. So let's see here. I need one more lithium to build a battery, or just one more copper to build a generator. You know what, let's build a generator. That's probably not a bad starting point for today. We'll print that puppy dog up. There we go. And then basically the way that a generator works is depending on the randomly spawned environment that you find yourself in, you can find yourself in quite a few randomly generated environments. Coal might be pretty abundant. Like when I was on an alien planet on my first playthrough, I found like an overabundance of coal like on the moon and on like the furthest planet from the starting Terran world. So the way that this works is you just slap some coal onto this machine and it just continuously sucks up all the particles from the coal. Once you put the coal on, you can't really get it back. And this will just keep producing energy regardless of whether or not you need it. So hopefully when you decide to craft with that, you actually need to have some of that. So let's see, I think I will make a couple more, or at least one more thing to store stuff. That's basically the end of our compound. I'll have to go get some more. And then we will just take all of this and go start exploring the rest of the environment while the fuel condenser turns raw energy into fuel. So I believe previously we had a secret murder hole off in this direction that we had already dug a bit of a pit in so that we can easily go deeper into those caves and get like a bunch of those tumor-looking things that are going to allow us to do technology research here at our base. Is that all the resin that's here? I need more. I need more resin, dang it. Alright, well. So much for that. Which direction? Here's a tether over here. Let me get some oxygen. Oh, there's like little rips in the environment. Oh well. That's what happens when you go between different versions of the game. Some weird environmental glitches are bound to happen. We'll just ignore those, and hopefully they won't cause us to fall through the world and explode or anything. And here we go. Here is our little ramp down into the subterranean world. Just hoof it down into here. And somewhere down here should be more plant tumors that we can then use in order to do more research. So that would be these things. I don't know if I'd call these, like, tumors. They kind of seem like they could be plant bulbs, you know? Like, plants that grow back every year, they have those, like, giant tap roots that store, like, 90% of the plant's being during the winter time. So that might be what these are supposed to be. And there's a whole bunch of different kinds. And the deeper you go on any given planet, and there is kind of like an upper limit to how deep you can realistically go before you stop finding stuff for the moment, you get more fancy or fancier little, like, nodules of minerals like this thing or like that one. So we're just gonna bring these back to the base, and hopefully this will give us some really sweet research, because what I'm looking for is I'm looking for the ability to either build a vehicle or so that we can go out and, like, go to the moon with a rocket. And for that, we're gonna need a vehicle bay that'll allow us to build crazy contraptions. So this will take over to the research facility. This first thing that we built. We'll slap this in here. And there are a lot of bizarre... So what happened, I think, is I edited my game settings the old-fashioned way using some online guides. I think that's what caused the game to have these bizarre little, like, terrain rips. Oh, go figure. So let's see what this puppy gives us. Hopefully it's something fancy, because sometimes you can get garbage. It's completely random. There are some items in the game right now, like power cells, that we don't especially need. So that's too bad. It looks like there's a pretty big cave system, like, right below us here. So, we do have these weird glitches, but, we might be able to use these to cheat a little bit. And I'm completely fine with being a bit of a cheaty doodle dandy. So let's see what we got. Somewhere in this direction is a new cave system. And basically, ooh, hey, we do need resin. So I'll definitely take some free resin. In fact, let's get some free power from the wall over here. And then, of course, you can get some power back from your base if you hook up to a nearby tether. But we have found a pocket of resin. Now, if you're randomly digging in a direction and you find a pocket of resources, that usually means that on some part of that sphere of resources, there is going to be a cave somewhere. And that can be extremely helpful. So let's see here real quick. I believe I can build a battery if I go back to base and I get that lithium. So let's go get that lithium real fast. That should allow us to do fancier things. And I'm also really concerned, actually, about this weird graphical flub, because sometimes if your character touches the terrain at a funny angle because of, like, a glitchy, just object in the environment, you can fall through the ground and suffocate underground. It's kind of an awkward way to die, truth be told. So, anywho, this should allow us to extend our power a little bit. But what I'm going to do, because I don't really need these extra solar panels, I'm actually going to stick this on the side of my backpack, because anything that's in the middle of my backpack, all of the stuff that's in these main slots, if I die, they stay on my body. But if it's in those side canisters, those side slots, those will actually respawn with me, which is kind of nice. So let's see here. I don't have anything to smelt. I'll just go back and get that tumor. I'll dig a hole another time. I'll do that off camera. It's not exactly the most exciting thing in the known universe. Although, if you really need a job in space, being an astrological ditch digger, not the worst way to go, admittedly. Definitely not the worst way to go. Let's top up our oxygen, and let's grab this tumor. So I'd like to say that bigger tumors have a better chance of giving you better technology, but for right now, most of these tumors all share, like, a common research pool, and then eventually you get to, like, the higher research pool, where you get things like the interplanetary spaceship, which is just like a giant moon lander. I mean a giant one. Not just a small one, but a gigundo one. And that one's what we're going to use to get to the outer reaches of the solar system. And everything else, you kind of need to be careful, because you can run out of stuff to research if you're not careful before you get to the moon, and then you have basically nothing to look forward to when you get cool things from the moon, which is a little unfortunate. So let's plumb the depths here. Here we go. So if these other, like, jester hat tumors aren't going to give me the bacon that I so desperately crave, then I suppose the only option beyond that is to go digging for things like this. So let's bring this over here. That's probably going to have some good research, and so is this puppy. So let's grab this one. Let's take this back to base. And I might have unlocked a vehicle bay already, so we will see. That's part of why I went and got, like, a boatload more resin. In the event that I need to build out, like, another printing platform or another research platform. The other thing that we haven't had to deal with on this planet, which I've been kind of thankful for, is that depending on your randomly spawned home planet when you start this game, you can get these giant dust storms that kick up like giant blocks of rock, like these blocks here on the ground. And if they hit you in the head, you're basically insta-dead. And it's kind of awkward, especially if you have a lot of stuff and you're really far away from your base. So what is this gonna give us? Oh, it's, I guess we're done with most of the research here, so that just gave us some copper. Which probably means that we don't need a lot more stuff to get researching. So I'm actually going to build out another node from here. And click on that. Put in one of these resins. Whoops. That's not what I wanted to do. And you want to build these kind of farish away from your main habitat, otherwise you'll run out of space, like, really fast. So I don't need a printer or a condenser. Here we go. I need aluminum. So let's see. I think I have some of this. I might not. I have one aluminium here. And then I believe I have one over there. So let's grab that. Get back my battery. Because the technology is stealing my battery power. Then we will slot these right in here, and this will craft ourselves a vehicle bay. And the vehicle bay is going to allow us to build, well, I mean, quite obviously, vehicles, once it's daytime anyway. So if I put this power into the front of this... Does it want to go into these side ports? It does. So once this is powered up, I'll be able to select what type of thing I can build with it. Okay. No, don't suck down all of my power, you greedy base. Okay, so I can build all sorts of different things. Like I can build a rover, or I can build a truck, or I can build a shuttle. That's actually what we are looking for. And this is what's going to eventually take us to the moon. But I'm not quite ready to go to the moon just yet. We're going to need to gather, like, materials and some other stuff so we can build a proper base once we arrive. So, let's start with a regular old-fashioned rover. And then let's also see about building a trade platform. So let's see, let's put one of these here. And so, the other thing that I want to build is there's something called a trade platform. And the trade platform allows you to convert fuel into just about anything that you need. So what it does is, it's kind of pretending like you're playing with other players online, and it's sending fuel out to be traded for other commodities or materials out in the world. And then depending on what the material that you need, it's like a 1-to-1 trade, or like a 2-to-1 or a 3-to-1. So this will make it a lot easier for us to get certain rare materials depending on where we end up in the game. So we'll build this puppy up. And basically you just slot, you know, hydrazine into the sides of it, and then it'll take off and give you stuff. Like I could get compound or resin or organics or... I don't know why you'd want to trade gas for hydrazine, because hydrazine turns into fuel, but you can. You can also trade it for laterite, which is aluminum ore, or malachite, which is the copper ore, or pretty much anything in between. So, how do I want to handle this? Well, I kind of want to save up my fuel. There's really no reason to waste fuel. And I need to start building fuel into just a huge quantity so we can eventually fuel up a rocket. So let's go build us a rover. And to build a rover, we're just going to need a metric buttload of compound. And you might have noticed that I have pretty much mined out every major source of compound from here to Timbuktu. So way out north, there is a power conduit, or one of those nodes that spawns infinite power. Just gotta give it a chance to regenerate. And we also have some... Oh, there's a compound. I think I've actually already mined from that, because it looks like there's a hole there. But first, we will suck up all of this power, make sure we have plenty of energy with us. And then we'll go suck up some of that free oxygen, and that'll make our experience out here really, really easy. So if you end up on a planet with, like, lots of free oxygen and power, you pretty much never have to worry about running out of any major resources. Like, you can just go fill up a tank full of free oxygen and free power, and just go roaming for basically ever. Oh yeah, I've already been here, because I've left, like, a bunch of spare compound on the floor. Alright. Well, let's suck up all this stuff before we run out of free oxygen. And then we'll go back to the base and see about finishing up building ourselves a big, fancy schmancy rover. And one thing you probably always want to have stockpiled is probably compound, followed by resin, and then copper and aluminum, because you pretty much always need more of it. There's never a time where you don't need more compound, or you don't find yourself needing a boatload of resin to expand or add on to a base. Especially because, you know, this game's only in pre-alpha stages right now. Eventually, they are more than likely going to add just a trifecta of, like, an infinitely more buildings, bases, and vehicles that you can build and play and trade with other characters. So you're gonna need it at some point. And we are currently running low on the old oxygen. What direction? Here it is. Sometimes it's hard to see your tethers because they can literally disappear beneath the horizon. So always make sure you know what direction you were coming from so that you don't end up suffocating and losing all the stuff that you just spent like an eternity trying to farm up for your base. So let's take all this delicious bacon back home. And then we will build ourselves a rover. But first, before we build the rover itself, we need to build ourselves a pilot's seat. So let's see here. Here we go. Well, maybe. They did add some stuff. Maybe you don't need to build a pilot seat the old-fashioned way anymore. It's entirely possible. Sometimes the vehicle builder can build on stuff directly on to your vehicles, so you might as well wait and see if that's possible. It depends really on your level of technology, to be honest. Okie doke. So once that's powered back up, it should be able to tell us what it can fit onto this rover. So it can put one seat on it automatically for us, which I do want it to do. So build me a seat, buckaroo. And then let's grab this other compound from over here. And I think it might be able to build us some storage onto the back here. Maybe. The idea here is that I want this to be a portable storage device so that we can take whatever we want with us. So I can't put a big storage on here, but I can put one of these storage. So let's do that. And then while we're waiting for that to print, I'll set another hydrazine to collect. And then next episode, we'll be able to enjoy and explore using our fancy new rover, which is battery powered. So be careful that you don't run out of energy with that. doesn't store a lot of energy, which is why you eventually probably want to upgrade to a truck at some point. So now we can drive around with our little rover. Do be careful because they are a little bit slidey and top-heavy, so they don't always behave themselves super well. Like, the gravity and the physics in this game, as you see right here, it's a little bit fiddly, to say the least. As you can see, this thing is already chugging down massive amounts of power. But for short little excursions, like to come over here and to get some resin, or to go explore like a new biome over here where you've got like these little spiky plants near a mountain, it's not too bad, to be honest. So what we can do is once we get out of here, we can actually unhook our solar panel and stick it on the ass end of our vehicle. And once it's daytime, it'll start getting a bit of a trickle of power back. And we can actually use this now to lift up this giant plant here and see if there is a tumor underneath of it. Sometimes there's not. I don't know what rules govern it, but pretty much any plant underneath of it you can find some manner of power tumor, or like research tumor, or whatever you want to call it. So we'll just utilize this free power node here to power our vehicle, which is the nice thing about having these siphon nodes all over hell and creation. So there we go, we can just power up at the local gas station. So that's kind of like a preview at how some of the vehicles work in this game. There's a bigger version of this vehicle in the truck, which you can actually put a bunch of storage on. And there's also... oh, so you can get murder storms in this game. Oh, shit. Nope, I don't want to be in that. So basically, that's going to blow us around, and if I wait a second before we end off the episode, you can actually see that it starts to blow around giant rocks that are going to, like, hit us in the head and kill us. So let's see if it shows. Yeah, so you can run into storms. I guess the biome that we're in just didn't show them before. Alright, well... let's just go explore the storm. Screw it. Yep, there's the giant rocks. So those will kill you if you're not in a vehicle or something. Be very careful about those giant murder rocks. Plants are all whipping around and stuff. Yeah, that is... it's a little bit annoying to drive around in, because it really flaps your car around, and or will kill you, straight up. And if it manages to tip over your car, your body will be ejected from the vehicle. You'll have to flip it back over fast before you get murdered. So, it's a little awkward, but it does alright. So that's it for this one, ladies and gentlemen. I've been your host, Larry the Chupacabra. Don't forget to subscribe here at Feed Me Pixels. Maybe check out our live stream crew over at twitch.tv/feedmepixelslive. And I'll catch you next time. Bye, everybody, and have a good one.